Have you ever felt your heart pound at the thought of speaking English? That sudden rush of heat to your face, the desperate search for the right word that just vanishes? I have. I remember standing in a coffee shop in a new city, my mind a complete blank when the barista asked a simple question. It's a feeling of being stuck, a little lost, and honestly, a bit lonely. But what if I told you that this exact feeling is the starting point for something amazing? That this discomfort is the first step to unlocking a whole new world of connections, from ordering the perfect meal to making a friend on the other side of the globe. Welcome to our English conversation practice for beginners. This isn't about perfect grammar from day one. This is about building confidence, one simple, practical conversation at a time. We're going to focus on the 3 areas you'll use most: shopping, travel, and food. Think of this as your personal guide, your friendly coach, walking with you through these everyday situations. I'll share phrases you can use immediately, little secrets about pronunciation that make a huge difference, and cultural tips that will help you sound natural and feel understood. Let's start with the very foundation: introductions and greetings. This is your key to opening any conversation. The simplest and most powerful phrase is, "Hello, how are you?" Now, listen to the music of that question. It's not just flat words. We often say it with a slight rise at the end, "How are you?" Practice that little lift. It sounds friendlier. The most common responses are, "I'm fine, thank you." "And you?" or "I'm good, thanks." "How about you?" Always try to return the question. It shows you are engaged. But here's a pro tip. In many English-speaking cultures, "How are you?" is often a polite greeting, not a request for a detailed medical report. A short, positive answer is usually best in quick interactions like with a shop clerk or a server. Save the longer conversations for when you're sitting down with someone. Now, let's dive into our first real-world scenario: shopping. Imagine you walk into a store. The assistant approaches you. What do you say? You don't have to panic. You have options. A simple smile and a "Hello, I'm just looking, thank you" is perfect. It's polite and it gives you space to browse. If you need help, the magic phrase is, "Excuse me, can you help me?" This is your golden ticket. Let's practice that. "Excuse me, can you help me?" Notice how "excuse me" grabs their attention politely. Once you have their attention, you need to ask for what you're looking for. Let's say you want a shirt. You can say, "I'm looking for a blue shirt." Or, "Do you have this in a medium size?" A very useful word is where. "Where can I find the shoes?" or "Where are the fitting rooms?" These questions are short, direct, and will get you exactly what you need. Remember, the goal is communication, not perfection. People will understand you even if your grammar isn't flawless. The courage to try is what matters most. Now that you know how to ask for help in a shop, let's take it a step further. What happens when you find something you like? This is where the real fun begins. I remember the first time I tried on a jacket that was a bit too big. I wanted to ask for a smaller size, but I froze. I didn't know the word for smaller. I ended up pointing and miming, which worked, but it was awkward. Let me save you from that. The key phrase here is, "Do you have this in a smaller size?" or "Do you have this in a larger size?" Simple, right? You can also specify the size. "Do you have this in a medium?" or "I need a size 10, please." Another common situation is asking about the price. In English, we usually say, "How much is this?" or "How much does this cost?" Sometimes, items are on sale. You might see a sign that says sale or discount. You can ask, "Is this on sale?" or "What's the price after the discount?" If you're buying multiple items, you might want to know the total. At the cash register, the cashier will often say, "That will be $20, or ask, "Will that be all?" You can respond with, "Yes, that's all," or if you're paying by card, "Can I pay by card?" or "Do you accept credit cards?" Here's a cultural tip that's incredibly important. In many English-speaking countries, especially in the United States, it's common to make small talk with the cashier. They might say, "How's your day going?" A simple, "It's good, thanks." "How about you?" is perfect. It's a friendly exchange that makes the interaction pleasant. But if you're in a hurry, a smile and a good thanks are fine. Also, remember that in some places, prices don't include tax, so the amount you pay might be a little more than the price tag. Don't be surprised. Let's practice a short dialogue. Imagine you're in a clothing store. Excuse me, do you have this shirt in blue?" Assistant, "Let me check for you." "Yes, we do." "What size are you looking for?" "I need a medium, please." Assistant, "Here you go. The fitting room is over there." Thank you." After trying it on, if it fits, you can say, "I'll take it." If not, "Thank you, but it's not quite right." Always be polite. Now, what about colors? If you're looking for something specific, you can say, "I'm looking for a red dress," or "Do you have this in black?" Colors are easy to learn and very useful. Practice saying the colors you like: red, blue, green, yellow, etc. As we wrap up the shopping section, remember that confidence comes from practice. Try role-playing these conversations at home. Speak out loud. It might feel silly at first, but it helps your mouth get used to the sounds. Next time, we'll embark on a new adventure: travel. Imagine being able to confidently book a hotel, ask for directions, or order a taxi in English. It's easier than you think, and I'll show you how. Leaving the comfort of a familiar shop and stepping into the adventure of travel can feel like a giant leap, but I promise you, the English you need for traveling is just as manageable. I'll never forget the mix of excitement and nerves I felt at an airport for the first time, surrounded by signs in English and the hurried chatter of passengers. That moment when I had to ask for directions to my gate, my voice was barely a whisper. But I did it, and you can too. Travel English is all about key phrases that get you from point A to point B smoothly. Let's start with the very beginning of a journey: the airport. The airport might seem overwhelming, but it's just a series of simple steps. First, you need to check in. At the check-in counter, the agent will ask for your passport and probably say, "Where are you flying to today?" You can respond with, "I'm flying to," city name. They might ask, "Do you have any bags to check?" meaning luggage to go in the hold of the plane. You can say, "Yes, one bag to check," or "No, I just have carry-on." After that, they'll give you your boarding pass. A useful phrase to know is, "Can I have a window seat, please?" or "an aisle seat, please." It's a small request that can make your flight more comfortable. Once you're through security, you'll need to find your gate. Gates are usually marked with letters and numbers. If you're lost, don't hesitate to ask someone, "Excuse me, where is gate B12?" Airport staff are there to help. Another common situation is at the immigration counter. The officer might ask, "What is the purpose of your visit?" You can answer, "I'm here for tourism," or "I'm visiting family." Keep your answers clear and simple. Remember, politeness goes a long way. Always use please and thank you. Now, let's talk about one of the most important travel skills, asking for directions. This is where a few keywords can save you. The basic question is, how do I get to place? For example, how do I get to the train station? People might give you directions using words like left, right, straight ahead, or turn at the corner. If you don't understand, it's okay to say, "Could you please repeat that?" or "Can you point it out on the map?" Most people are happy to help. A phrase I use all the time is it within walking distance? Meaning, can I walk there, or do I need a taxi? Speaking of taxis, let's practice that. When you get into a taxi, you can say, "To the city center, please," or "to this address," and show them the address on your phone. You might need to ask, "How much will it cost?" or "Do you use the meter?" It's also smart to know the phrase, "Can you please give me a receipt?" for your records. Here's a cultural tip. In many English-speaking countries, tipping is common for services like taxis, hotel porters, and restaurant staff. It's not always mandatory, but it's expected. For a taxi, rounding up the fare or adding 10 to 15% is a good rule of thumb. Don't worry, we'll cover food and restaurants in more detail later, but it's good to be aware. To make this practical, let's imagine a short dialogue at an airport information desk. Excuse me, I'm looking for the baggage claim. Officer, it's on the lower level. Just follow the signs for baggage claim. Thank you. And where can I find a taxi? Officer, the taxi stand is right outside this door to the left. Perfect, thanks for your help. See? Short, simple, and effective. The goal is to communicate, not to be perfect. As we move forward, we'll dive deeper into hotel check-ins and ordering food, turning your travel anxieties into confident conversations. After navigating the airport and finding your way to the hotel, you're probably feeling a mix of exhaustion and excitement. This is the moment where a smooth check-in can make all the difference. I recall my first time checking into a hotel abroad. I was so worried about misunderstanding the clerk that I almost missed the joy of arriving in a new place. But let me share a secret: hotel conversations are very structured, and with a few key phrases, you'll be holding your room key in no time. The first thing you'll do is approach the front desk. A warm smile and a simple, "Hello, I have a reservation under the name, your name," is your perfect opening line. Notice I said "under the name," that's the common phrase used. The clerk will then likely ask for your passport or ID and might say, "Thank you, I've found your booking. You'll be staying for 3 nights, is that correct?" You can confirm with, "Yes, that's right." This is also your chance to ask important questions. Don't be shy. This is your home away from home. You might want to know about the Wi-Fi. So, ask, "What is the Wi-Fi password?" or "Is the Wi-Fi free?" Another common question is about breakfast. What time is breakfast served, or is breakfast included? If you have specific needs, like a quiet room or one with a view, you can politely request, "Is it possible to have a room on a higher floor?" or "Could I have a room away from the elevator?" Most hotels will try to accommodate you if they can. Now, here's a cultural tip that often surprises beginners. In many hotels, especially in the United States, you might be asked for a credit card for incidentals. This means for any extra charges you might make, like movies from the room TV or minibar items. Don't be alarmed, it's standard practice. You can simply hand over your card and say, "Sure, here you go." Once everything is settled, the clerk will give you your key cards and might say, "Your room is on the 5th floor. The elevators are to your left." A good response is, "Thank you very much. Have a nice day." Let's practice a full check-in dialogue to make it feel real. Clerk, good evening. Welcome to the Grand Hotel. How can I help you? You, hello, I have a reservation under the name Smith. Clerk, yes, Ms. Smith. I see your reservation for 2 nights. Could I please see your passport? You, of course, here it is. Clerk, thank you. Will you be paying by credit card? You, yes, I will. Clerk, great. Your room is 504. Here are your keys. Breakfast is served from 7 to 10 a.m. in the dining room on the ground floor. You, perfect, thank you. Is there free Wi-Fi? Clerk, yes, the network is Grand Hotel and the password is welcome123. You, thank you for your help. See how straightforward that was? Each question and answer has a purpose. Now, once you're settled in, your stomach will probably remind you of the next essential adventure, food. Ordering a meal in a new language can be daunting, but it's also one of the most rewarding experiences. Imagine confidently walking into a restaurant and ordering a delicious dish exactly how you like it. We're going to make that happen. The first step is just getting a table. When you enter, the host might ask, "Table for 1, or how many in your party?" You can respond with, "A table for 2, please." If you have a preference, like "Can we have a table by the window?" that's perfectly fine to ask. Remember, in English-speaking countries, it's common to be polite but direct. There's no need for overly formal language in most casual dining places. As we transition from travel to food, keep in mind that these skills are interconnected, building your confidence one conversation at a time. There's nothing quite like the anticipation of sitting down in a restaurant, menu in hand, ready to taste the local cuisine. But for many beginners, that menu can feel like a daunting list of unfamiliar words. I remember staring at a menu once, completely bewildered by terms like sunny side up or a la mode. I ended up pointing randomly and hoping for the best. Let me assure you, those days are over. Ordering food is a skill we can master together, and it starts with understanding the basic flow of a restaurant interaction. After you're seated, the server will often start with a greeting like, "Hi, my name is John, and I'll be your server today. Can I start you off with something to drink?" This is your cue to begin. A simple response is, "Yes, could I please have a glass of water?" or "I'd like a coffee, please." Notice the use of "could I please" or "I'd like." These are polite and common phrases. Once you have your drinks, the server will ask if you're ready to order. If you need more time, it's perfectly okay to say, "Could we have a few more minutes, please?" When you're ready, you can say, "We're ready to order now." Now, for the main event, ordering your food. The simplest way is to say, "I'll have the cheeseburger," or "I'd like the chicken salad." But what if you have questions? Don't hesitate to ask. Servers are there to help. You can say, what do you recommend, or is the fish spicy? If you have dietary restrictions, it's important to speak up. For example, does this soup contain meat? I'm vegetarian. Or, I have a nut allergy. Is this dish safe for me? Being clear ensures you have an enjoyable meal. Here's a pro tip that will make you sound like a native. When ordering, we often use I'll have instead of I want. It's softer and more polite. Also, pay attention to how you want your food cooked. For steak, you might be asked, how would you like that cooked? You can respond with rare, medium, or well done. For eggs, you might hear how do you like your eggs, with options like scrambled, fried, or poached. These are specific vocabulary words that are useful to learn. After the meal, you'll need to ask for the bill. In American English, we usually say, check, please. In British English, it's more common to say, bill, please. The server might ask, will that be all together, if you're in a group, meaning one bill for everyone. You can say, yes, together please, or separate checks, please, if you want to pay individually. Now, let's practice a full dialogue from start to finish. Server, hi, welcome to Mario's. Table for two? You, yes, please. Server, right this way. Here are your menus. Can I get you started with drinks? You, could we have 2 waters, please? Server, sure. I'll be back to take your order. A few minutes later. Server, are you ready to order? You, yes, I'll have the grilled chicken with vegetables, and my friend will have the pasta. Server, excellent choices. How would you like the chicken cooked? You, well done, please. Server, and for the pasta, would you like the tomato or cream sauce? Your friend, tomato sauce, please. Server, great, I'll put that in for you. After the meal. You, check, please. Server, here you go. Will that be cash or card? You, card, please. This dialogue covers the essentials. Remember, the key is to be polite and clear. As we continue, we'll explore more specific food situations, like coffee shops, street food, and how to handle mistakes with your order. But for now, practice these phrases. They are your foundation for enjoying meals out with confidence. There's a special kind of magic in walking into a coffee shop, the aroma of freshly ground beans, the gentle hum of conversation, and the promise of a warm cup that feels like a hug from the inside. For me, mastering the language of coffee shops was a game changer. It's where I learned that small talk and simple orders can lead to genuine connections. But I also remember the panic of facing a long list of coffee types I didn't understand. Latte, cappuccino, Americano, what was the difference? If you've ever felt that way, take a deep breath. Ordering coffee is one of the easiest and most rewarding conversations to practice. Let's break it down together. The first thing you'll see is the menu board. It might seem complicated, but it's really just a list of options based on 2 things, the type of coffee and the size. The most common sizes are small, medium, and large, but many coffee shops use Italian terms like tall, grande, and venti. Don't let that intimidate you. You can always point and say, I'd like a medium coffee, please. But if you want to be more specific, here's a quick guide. A black coffee is just coffee with nothing added. An Americano is espresso with hot water. A latte is espresso with steamed milk, and a cappuccino has less milk and more foam. If you like sweet drinks, you might ask for a mocha, chocolate and coffee, or a vanilla latte. The key phrase to start your order is, "Can I get a," or "I'll have a." Now, here's where you can customize. Do you want your coffee to go? Then say, "To go, please." If you're staying in the shop, say, "For here, please." What about milk? You can ask for whole milk, skim milk, or oat milk if you prefer a non-dairy option. And if you have a sweet tooth, you can say, "Can I have some sugar, or do you have vanilla syrup?" A very important question you might hear is, "Would you like room for cream?" This means, should they leave space in the cup so you can add cream yourself? You can answer, "Yes, please," or "No, thank you." But ordering coffee isn't just about the drink, it's about the interaction. In many English-speaking countries, especially in casual settings like coffee shops, a little small talk is expected. The barista might say, "How's your day going?" A simple, "It's good, thanks." "How about you?" is a friendly response. Or if it's morning, they might say, "Good morning." You can reply with the same. This brief exchange makes the experience pleasant for everyone. Let's practice a common dialogue. You, "Good morning. Can I get a large latte to go, please?" Barista, "Sure. Whole milk or skim?" You, "Skim milk, please." Barista, "Anything else for you?" You, "No, that's all." Thank you. Barista, "That'll be $4. You, handing over payment, "Here you go." Barista, "Thanks. Have a great day." You too. See how smooth that can be? Now, what if you make a mistake or change your mind? It's okay. You can say, "I'm sorry, I meant to say a small coffee," or "Can I change my order to a cappuccino?" People are generally understanding. As we wrap up this section on coffee, remember that this is a low-pressure environment perfect for practicing English. Start with a simple order and gradually try new phrases. Each successful interaction will build your confidence. Next time, we'll explore another essential food scenario, navigating street food markets, where your senses will be delighted and your conversation skills will be put to the test in the most fun way possible. The vibrant chaos of a street food market is where a city's true heart beats. I'll never forget my first encounter with a night market in Bangkok, the air thick with the sizzle of pans, the scent of ginger and garlic, and a dizzying array of stalls, each offering something more delicious than the last. But amidst the excitement, I felt a familiar pang of anxiety. How do I order from a vendor when there's no menu? What if I point to something and it's far too spicy? Navigating street food is an art, and it's one of the most fun ways to practice your English because it's all about simple, direct communication. The energy is fast-paced, but the language doesn't have to be complicated. Let's learn how to dive in confidently. The first thing to remember is that street food vendors are used to dealing with people from all over the world. A smile and a point can go a long way, but a few key phrases will unlock a much richer experience. Start with a friendly greeting. "Hello," or "Good evening," sets a positive tone. Then, when you see something you like, you can ask, "What is that?" pointing to the dish. The vendor might say something like, "It's chicken sauté," or "This is a vegetable spring roll." If you want to try it, you can say, "1 portion, please," or "Can I have 2 of these?" To ask about the price, simply say, "How much?" or "How much for one?" The answer might be $3 each, or 5 for $10. Here's a cultural tip that's crucial. In many street food cultures, bargaining is not common. The price is usually fixed, especially in markets frequented by tourists. It's best to pay the asked price to be respectful. However, if you're buying in bulk, you might ask, any discount for 3, but do it with a smile. Another important aspect is managing your preferences. If you're worried about spice levels, you can ask, is it spicy, or can you make it not too spicy? Phrases like no spice, please, or a little spicy are very useful. Also, don't forget to ask about ingredients if you have allergies. Does this have peanuts, or I cannot eat meat, is this vegetarian? Being clear helps avoid any issues. Now, let's imagine you're at a taco stand. Here's how a typical interaction might go. Hi. Those look delicious. What are they? Vendor, these are fish tacos. Very fresh. Great. Can I have one fish taco, please? Vendor, sure. Any toppings? We have salsa, cilantro, and onion. Everything, please. But not too much salsa. Vendor, okay. That will be $4. Here you go. Thank you. After you receive your food, a simple thank you is always appreciated. If you love it, you can even give a compliment, this is amazing, which will surely make the vendor happy. Street food is about connection as much as it is about nourishment. Each small transaction is a chance to practice a quick, friendly exchange. As we move forward, we'll shift gears from food to another critical area, handling problems. What do you do if you get lost, if your order is wrong, or if you need help in an emergency? These situations can be stressful, but with the right phrases, you can handle them with calm and confidence. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity to learn. Let's be honest, no matter how well we prepare, things don't always go according to plan. That's just part of life, and it's especially true when you're navigating a new language and culture. I'll never forget the time I took a wrong turn in a bustling city and found myself completely lost, or the moment I realized the dish I was served at a restaurant was nothing like what I thought I'd ordered. My heart sank each time, but those experiences taught me something invaluable. Knowing how to handle problems in English isn't about avoiding them, it's about facing them with confidence and turning a stressful situation into a manageable one. Today, we're going to equip you with the phrases you need to tackle common issues head-on, from minor inconveniences to more urgent matters. First, let's talk about getting lost. It happens to everyone. The key is not to panic. If you're on foot and need directions, look for a polite way to get someone's attention. Excuse me, I think I'm lost. Can you help me? Is a perfect start. Then, be specific about where you're trying to go. I'm looking for the main train station, or how do I get to Maple Street? If you have a map or phone, you can say, can you show me on the map? People are usually happy to assist. If the directions are complicated, it's okay to ask for clarification. Could you please repeat that more slowly? Or so, I turn left at the next light? Remember, thanking them is crucial. Thank you so much for your help. Now, what about dealing with a wrong order in a restaurant? This is a common fear, but it's easily resolved with politeness. When the server comes to check on you, you can say, excuse me, I think there might be a mistake with my order. Then, explain clearly, I ordered the chicken pasta, but this is the beef pasta. Or, I asked for no onions, but this has onions. The phrase I ordered, followed by what you actually wanted, is very effective. It's important to stay calm and friendly. Servers are more likely to help if you're understanding. They might apologize and say, I'm so sorry, I'll get that corrected for you right away. A good response is, thank you, I appreciate it. In more serious situations, like needing medical help or reporting an emergency, clarity is vital. If you need a doctor, you can say, I need a doctor, please, or where is the nearest hospital? For emergencies, the universal number is 911 in the United States and Canada, or 999 in the UK. When calling, try to state your location first. I'm at the corner of Main Street and Park Avenue. Then, explain the problem, there's been an accident, or I need an ambulance. Speak slowly and clearly. If you're in a hotel, the front desk can assist. Say, I need help, it's an emergency. Here's a cultural tip. In English-speaking countries, it's generally expected to be direct but polite when addressing problems. Avoid being overly aggressive or loud. A calm demeanor will get you better results. Also, don't hesitate to use please and thank you even in stressful moments. It shows respect and can de-escalate tension. Practice makes progress. Role-play these scenarios with a friend or even by yourself. Say the phrases out loud until they feel natural. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's communication. Each problem you solve in English will make you stronger and more confident. Next, we'll explore another practical topic, making small talk and building connections beyond transactions, because language is ultimately about people. After learning how to handle problems, you might be thinking, okay, I can survive now. But how do I truly connect with people? That's where the magic of small talk comes in. Small talk is the gentle social glue that turns a transaction into an interaction, a stranger into a potential friend. I used to dread it, fearing I'd run out of things to say or make a cultural faux pas. But then I realized that small talk isn't about delivering a brilliant speech, it's about sharing a simple, human moment. It's the comment about the weather to your taxi driver, asking a fellow traveler where they're from, or complimenting the chef at a street food stall. These tiny exchanges can brighten your day and make your journey unforgettable. So, let's unlock the art of making small talk in English. The easiest and most universal topic is, of course, the weather. It might seem cliché, but it's a safe and common opener. You can say, beautiful day, isn't it? Or it's quite cold today, right? The other person will usually agree and might add a comment. This can lead to other topics. For example, if you're in a taxi, you could follow up with, is it always this rainy in October? Or I'm from a warm country, so this snow is amazing for me. Sharing a little about yourself invites the other person to share too. Another excellent topic is travel itself. When you're on a train or in a hotel lobby, you can ask fellow travelers, are you here on vacation, or what brought you to this city? People love talking about their journeys. You can respond with, that sounds fascinating. I'm here for the first time. Do you have any recommendations for places to see or eat? This not only keeps the conversation going but also gives you valuable local tips. Remember to listen actively and show interest. Phrases like really or that's incredible encourage them to continue. In food-related contexts, small talk is natural. At a restaurant, you might chat with the server, this dish is delicious. Is it a local specialty? At a market, you can ask a vendor, "How long have you been selling here?" or "This smells wonderful. What's your secret ingredient?" Compliments are always welcome and can open doors. If you're dining with others, conversation starters include, "What's your favorite cuisine?" or "Have you tried anything here that you'd recommend?" Here's a crucial cultural tip. In many English-speaking cultures, it's common to avoid overly personal questions like age, salary, or marital status when first meeting someone. Stick to neutral topics like hobbies, travel, food, or general experiences. Also, be mindful of body language, maintain eye contact, smile, and nod to show you're engaged. If you don't understand something, it's okay to say, "Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it?" Most people will slow down and clarify. Let's practice a few short dialogues. Imagine you're in a taxi. Hi. The weather is much nicer than I expected. Driver, yes, we've been lucky this week. Where are you from? I'm from Spain. This is my first time here. Driver, welcome. You should check out the Central Park if you have time. Thank you, I will. Or at a cafe with a fellow customer. This coffee is great. Do you come here often? Customer, yes, it's my favorite spot. The pastries are fresh too. I'll have to try one next time. I'm visiting for a few days. Customer, oh, you'll love it. The museum down the street is worth a visit. As we wrap up, remember that small talk is a skill that improves with practice. Start with one comment or question each day. Don't worry about perfection, focus on being friendly and curious. Next time, we'll dive into a fun and essential topic, understanding menus and food vocabulary, so you can order like a pro and discover new flavors with confidence. Have you ever held a menu in your hands, your eyes glazing over at words like au gratin, provençal, or confit? I certainly have. There was a time when I thought bisque was a fancy way to say soup and that carpaccio had something to do with carpfish. I felt a quiet embarrassment, afraid to ask what these terms meant. But here's the truth I learned: menus are not tests, they are invitations to explore. And you don't need a culinary degree to understand them. You just need a few key insights and the confidence to ask questions. Today, we're going to demystify restaurant menus together, turning that daunting list into a map for a delicious adventure. Let's start with the basic structure of a typical menu. Most menus are divided into sections. The first section is often appetizers or starters. These are smaller dishes meant to be eaten before the main course. Think of items like soups, salads, or small plates like bruschetta. Next, you have the main courses or entrees. This is the heart of the meal, larger dishes like steak, pasta, or fish. Then, there might be a side section for extra items like vegetables, fries, or rice that you can order separately. Finally, you have desserts and drinks. Knowing these sections helps you navigate the menu logically. Now, for the vocabulary. Menus often use descriptive words to make food sound appealing. Let's decode some common ones. If something is grilled, it's cooked on a grill. Roasted means cooked in an oven. Sautéed is cooked quickly in a pan with a little oil. Creamy indicates a smooth, rich texture, often from cream or cheese. Spicy means it has a hot flavor, but you can always ask, "How spicy is it?" on a scale from mild to very hot. If you see of the day, like soup of the day, it means the chef has prepared a special item that changes daily. This is a great thing to ask about. What is the soup of the day? A very important phrase to know is, what do you recommend? Servers are experts on the menu and can guide you to popular or seasonal dishes. If you have dietary restrictions, be proactive. You can say, I'm vegetarian. What are my options? Or I have a dairy allergy. Can you tell me which dishes are safe? Most restaurants are accommodating. If a description is unclear, point to it and ask, could you please tell me more about this dish? What comes with it? This shows you're engaged and ensures you get what you want. Let's practice with a sample menu dialogue. Imagine you're at a nice restaurant. Server, are you ready to order? You, I'm interested in the grilled salmon, but could you tell me what it's served with? Server, certainly. It comes with roasted asparagus and a lemon butter sauce. You, that sounds good. And is the sauce very rich? Server, it's quite light, actually. The lemon balances the butter. You, perfect, I'll have that. And to start, I'd like the house salad. Server, excellent choice. What dressing would you like? We have ranch, vinaigrette, or blue cheese. You, vinaigrette, please. This interaction shows how asking simple questions leads to a meal you'll truly enjoy. Remember, it's not about knowing every word, it's about knowing how to find out. As we continue, we'll look at another fun aspect, using English to talk about your own culture and food, sharing stories that make conversations memorable. But for now, take a menu, any menu, and practice identifying the sections and words we discussed. You're already one step closer to ordering with confidence. Now that you can confidently navigate a menu, let's talk about something even more powerful, sharing the story behind the food. Some of my most cherished travel memories aren't just about the meals I ate, but about the conversations they sparked. I recall sitting in a small restaurant in Tokyo, telling a local friend about a similar dish from my hometown. Their eyes lit up with curiosity, and suddenly, we weren't just two people eating, we were connecting through our cultures. That's the magic I want for you. Using English to talk about your own food and traditions isn't just about vocabulary, it's about sharing a piece of your identity. It turns a simple meal into a bridge between worlds, and as a beginner, you have all the tools you need to start building those bridges today. So, how do you begin? Start with a simple comparison. When you try a new dish that reminds you of home, you can say, this is similar to a dish we have in my country called. For example, this pasta reminds me of our national dish, which is made with. This immediately invites questions and shows your interest in both cultures. If you're eating with others, you can ask, have you ever tried food from your culture? If they haven't, it's a perfect opportunity to describe it. Use sensory words. It's a sweet pastry filled with nuts and honey, or it's a savory stew that's very hearty and warm. Don't worry about complex descriptions. Simple, clear language is most effective. Here's a key tip: people love stories. Instead of just listing ingredients, share a little about when and how the food is eaten. For instance, in my family, we always make this soup for special holidays, or this is street food where I'm from, and you can buy it from vendors on every corner. This gives context and makes your description come alive. If you're unsure about words, it's okay to use gestures or show a picture on your phone. The goal is communication, not perfection. You might even learn the English word for an ingredient by asking, "What do you call this vegetable in English?" turning the conversation into a mutual learning experience. Let's practice a dialogue where you share about your culture. Imagine you're at a dinner with new friends. "Friend, this grilled fish is delicious. Is there anything like this in your cuisine?" You, "Yes, actually. We have a very similar dish. We marinate the fish in lemon and herbs, but we also add a special spice that gives it a unique flavor." "Friend, that sounds amazing. What's the spice called?" You, "It's called spice name. It's a bit smoky. We use it in many dishes. I really miss it when I'm traveling." "Friend, I'd love to try it someday. Do you cook often?" You, "I try to. My grandmother taught me her recipes. Cooking reminds me of home." Another scenario, you're the one introducing a dish. You, "I noticed you like spicy food. In my country, we have a famous dish that's very spicy. It's made with chicken and lots of chili peppers." Friend, "Wow, I love spicy food. What's it called?" You, "It's called dish name. It's usually served with rice. If you ever visit, you must try it." These exchanges do more than practice language, they build rapport. Remember, your accent and occasional mistakes are part of your charm, they show you're making an effort. Most people will appreciate your willingness to share and will be eager to learn from you. As we wrap up this section on cultural exchange, think about one dish from your home that you're proud of. How would you describe it in simple English? Practice that description aloud. Next time, we'll explore another practical topic, using English in transportation settings, like buying bus tickets or asking for stops, ensuring you can move around with ease. But for now, remember that every meal is an opportunity to not just taste, but to tell a story. Imagine this, you're standing at a bus stop in a new city, watching buses come and go, but you have no idea which one to take or how to pay. The signs are confusing, and everyone else seems to know exactly what they're doing. That feeling of uncertainty is something I know all too well. But what if I told you that with a handful of simple phrases, you can master public transportation like a local? Navigating buses, trains, and taxis is a fundamental part of travel, and doing it in English doesn't have to be stressful. Today, we're going to break down the language you need to move from point A to point B with confidence, turning potential confusion into a smooth journey. Let's start with the basics, buying a ticket. Whether you're at a train station or a bus kiosk, the key question is, how much is a ticket to destination? For example, how much is a ticket to the city center? If you're not sure about the options, you can ask, "What are my ticket choices?" or "Do you have a day pass?" A day pass allows unlimited travel for a day and can be great value. When paying, you might need to specify, "I'd like to pay by card, please," or "I'll pay cash." Remember to always have your destination written down or saved on your phone to show if needed. Once you have your ticket, you'll need to find the right platform or stop. Don't hesitate to ask an official or a fellow passenger, "Excuse me, which platform does the train to destination leave from, or which bus goes to the museum?" People are usually helpful. If you're on the bus or train, you might want to know when to get off. A very useful phrase is, "Could you please let me know when we reach stop?" This is especially helpful if you're unsure. Most drivers or conductors will assist you. Here's a cultural tip that can save you embarrassment. In many countries, it's considered rude to speak loudly on public transport. Keep conversations quiet and avoid phone calls. Also, remember to offer your seat to elderly or pregnant passengers. It's a sign of respect. When taking a taxi, always check if the meter is running. If not, you can ask, "Is the meter on?" or "How much will it cost to get to address?" to avoid surprises. Now, let's practice a dialogue at a train station. Hello, I'd like a ticket to Oxford, please. Clerk, single or return? Return, please. How much is it? Clerk, that's £30. Okay. What time is the next train? Clerk, in 20 minutes from platform 4. Thank you. Could you point me to platform 4? Clerk, just down the hall to the left. Great, thanks for your help. And on the bus? Does this bus go to Central Park? Driver, yes, it does. One ticket, please. How much? Driver, $2. Here you go. Could you please tell me when we get close to Central Park? Driver, sure, I'll announce it. See? With clear questions and polite requests, you can navigate any transportation system. As we continue, we'll dive into another essential area, making phone calls in English, from booking a table to dealing with emergencies. But for now, practice these phrases aloud until they feel natural. Every journey you take is a chance to practice and grow more confident. Have you ever felt your palms get sweaty at the thought of making a phone call in English? That moment when you have to dial a number, and your mind races with all the things that could go wrong. What if you don't understand the person on the other end? What if you forget what to say? I've been there too. In fact, my first attempt to book a restaurant table over the phone ended with me nervously hanging up after a string of confused hellos. But here's the truth I discovered: phone conversations are actually easier than face-to-face chats because they follow predictable scripts. You don't have to worry about body language, you can focus solely on the words. Today, we're going to conquer phone fear together, turning those anxious dials into confident calls. Let's start with the basics of any phone call. When you call a business, like a restaurant or hotel, the person who answers will often state the name of the place first. For example, "Good afternoon, Mario's Restaurant, how can I help you?" Your response should be clear and polite. Begin with a greeting: "Hello, I'd like to make a reservation, please," or "Hi, I need some information." Speaking slowly and clearly is key. If you didn't catch what they said, it's okay to ask, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" or "I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Could you speak more slowly?" Most people will be happy to accommodate. Now, for a common scenario, booking a table at a restaurant. You'll need to provide specific details. Prepare these before you call: the date, time, number of people, and any special requests. A typical dialogue might go like this. Hello, I'd like to book a table for dinner, please. Restaurant, certainly. For what day and how many people? For this Saturday, at 7 p.m., for 4 people. Restaurant, let me check. Yes, we have availability. Would you like a table inside or on the terrace? Inside, please. And could we have a table by the window? Restaurant, I'll note that request. May I have your name, please? It's Anna Smith. Restaurant, thank you, Ms. Smith. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday. See how structured that is? Another useful phone skill is calling for information, like asking about business hours or prices. For example, hello, I'm calling to ask what time you open tomorrow, or could you tell me the price for a single room? Always remember to thank the person before ending the call. Thank you for your help. Goodbye. Here's a pro tip. If you're calling about a problem, like a wrong order delivered to your hotel room, stay calm and factual. Say, hello, this is room 205. I'm calling because my order is missing an item or the food is cold. Could you please send someone? Politeness gets better results than anger. In emergencies, knowing what to say is crucial. If you need to call for help, dial the local emergency number, like 911 or 999, and state your location clearly first. I need an ambulance at 123 Main Street. Then, explain the situation. There's been a car accident, or my friend is having trouble breathing. Speak slowly and wait for instructions. Practice these phrases aloud until they feel natural. You can even role-play with a friend. Remember, every phone call you make in English is a victory. Next time, we'll explore how to handle money conversations, from understanding receipts to tipping correctly, ensuring you feel secure in every transaction. There's a unique kind of panic that can set in when money is involved. You're at the counter, the total is announced, and your mind goes blank. Was that 15 or 50? Did the price include tax? How much should I tip? I've fumbled with cash and cards, my face flushed with confusion, hoping I wasn't accidentally being rude or shortchanging someone. Understanding financial transactions is about more than just numbers, it's about cultural know-how and clear communication. But I promise you, with a few essential phrases and a bit of insight, you can handle any money situation with ease. Let's turn those moments of uncertainty into confidence. First, let's talk about understanding the cost. When a cashier tells you the total, they might speak quickly. It's perfectly okay to ask for clarification. You can say, sorry, could you repeat the total, or how much was that again? If you're paying with cash and you hand over a large bill, you might hear, do you have anything smaller, meaning a bill of lower denomination? If you don't, you can simply say, no, sorry, I don't. When you receive your change, it's common to count it quickly, especially if it's a significant amount. This isn't considered rude, it's just being careful. Now, the topic of tipping. This is a major cultural point that varies greatly. In countries like the United States, tipping is essential for services like restaurants, taxis, and hotels. A general rule is 15 to 20% of the bill before tax in restaurants. For a taxi, rounding up to the nearest dollar or adding 10 to 15% is standard. In hotels, you might tip the porter who carries your bags a few dollars per bag. However, in many other English-speaking countries like Australia or the UK, tipping is less mandatory and often done for exceptional service. The key is to observe and ask if you're unsure. You can quietly ask a local, is tipping expected here? Or even ask the server, what's the usual tipping custom? When paying by card, you might be asked, credit or debit? You can choose based on your card. Then, the machine might prompt you to enter your PIN or sign here. If you're using a contactless card or phone, they might say, just tap it. If the machine isn't working, you can say, it's not going through, and try again or use a different card. Let's practice a dialogue at a restaurant when the bill arrives. Server, here's your check. Whenever you're ready. Thank you. Could we pay together? Meaning one bill for the whole table. Server, sure, I can combine them. After checking the bill, excuse me, what is this charge for? Server, that's for the extra side of fries. I see. Okay, we'll pay by card. Server, I'll bring the machine. After paying, you can leave the tip on the table or add it to the card machine. You might say, could I add a tip, please, if using the machine? Here's a crucial tip, always check your receipt before you leave. Make sure the amounts are correct. If you see a mistake, politely point it out. I think there's a mistake on the bill. We only had 1 coffee, not 2. Handling it calmly and politely will ensure it's resolved quickly. Mastering money talk is a huge step toward independence. Practice these phrases, and soon, paying will feel like second nature. Next, we'll explore how to use English to make deeper connections, moving beyond transactions to genuine friendships. And here we are. We started this journey with a shared feeling, that quickening heartbeat, the flush of anxiety when a simple English question seemed like an impossible mountain to climb. I asked you to remember a time you felt stuck, a little lost, maybe standing in a coffee shop or a foreign airport. Now, I want you to think about how far you've come. We've walked through the vibrant aisles of shops, navigated bustling airports and quiet hotel lobbies, and savored meals from fancy restaurants to lively street food markets. We've handled problems, made small talk, and even shared stories from our own cultures. Each of those scenarios was a step, and with each step, you've been building something incredible: confidence. This wasn't about memorizing a dictionary. It was about learning the music of everyday conversation, the rhythm of a polite request, the melody of a question, the harmony of a simple thank you. You now have a toolbox filled with practical phrases for shopping, travel, and food. You know how to ask for help, order a meal, book a ticket, and connect with people. But more importantly, you understand that mistakes are not failures, they are the very steps of learning. Every time you said excuse me or could you repeat that, you were practicing courage. That courage is your most valuable souvenir from this practice. Language is a living thing. It grows when you use it. So, my final advice is this: don't stop now. Keep practicing every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Describe what you see out your window. Watch a movie in English and repeat the phrases you hear. Find a language partner online. Each small effort is a drop of water that will eventually fill the ocean of your fluency. Remember the goals we set at the beginning: to feel confident, to connect, to explore. You are now equipped for those adventures. Thank you for allowing me to be your guide on this part of your journey. It has been a privilege. I began with a story of my own nervousness, and I end with a vision of your confidence. The world is full of conversations waiting for you to join them. So go ahead, open the door, and start talking. You are ready.